Hey guys, Carl from Purple Moose Plays. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Kinfire Delve, Vainglory's Grotto, from Incredible Dream Studios and designer Kevin Wilson, a name you might recognize from some huge games like Arkham Horror, Cosmic Encounter, and Descent, only this time he worked on a very small box cooperative card game, sort of survival style game, in which you're playing cards for their abilities, rolling dice, passing skill checks to sort of overcome challenges, working your way to a final epic showdown against the boss, Vainglory. Disclaimer, I was given a review copy of this game for this video, but as always I will do my best to give you my own honest opinion on the game. With that said, let's head down to the table to see how this one plays solo, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. To set up a solo game of Kinfire Delve, Vainglory's Grotto, begin first by taking the three master cards, the Vainglory cards, giving those a shuffle, choosing one of those at random to sort of be your boss for that game, setting the rest of them back into the box without looking at the other side. And then placing this out onto the table, sort of in the middle of the sort of gameplay area, I'm just going to set this over here for right now, and I'm going to probably end up moving things around a little bit to best make use of the screen as I continue setup. But the next thing I want to do is take the deck of well cards, giving this a good shuffle. I have already shuffled them, but I will shuffle them a little bit more. And then placing four of those on the four sides of that card face up like this. And again, if I need to shuffle these around or move these around a little bit, as I do this, I will, just to make things fit on camera as best I can, using the space to the best I can. I want to stay as closely zoomed in here as I can so you can see everything on the screen okay. And then I will discard the top three cards of that deck to sort of start the discard pile like that. Then I'm going to take the four gauntlet cards. These are only going to be used at the sort of very last end bit of the game, and just set those off to the side for now for use later on during gameplay. And then finally, the last thing I need to do before setting up my own character is that I need to place out these exhaustion cards, giving those a good shuffle, and just setting them off to the side somewhere as well. So I'll just stick those right here like that. The final big thing I need to do before playing the game is to choose my seeker or my character. This version of Kinfire Delve means Vainglory Grotto does come with two characters, and those two characters are these right here, Asha of Brillbrook and Khor. And for this playthrough, I am going to be taking Khor. So what that means is I need to place out my character card, my lantern card. This is the lantern card. I'm going to be placing it face down to start the game. And then my deck of skill cards shuffled up. And because I'm playing a solo game this time, I will be starting with 8 of these cards. So I'm going to be dealing out here 8 cards to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll just place these right here, leaving space right here for my discard pile. Also, I will be starting with 10 health, so I'm going to use this 10-sided die as a life tracker, placing that over here set to a 10 so I can remember that I currently have 10 health. And then finally, the last few things that I do need to prepare for gameplay are these trackers, these progress trackers at 3 and 1 value. I'm just going to set those off here down in the bottom corner of the screen, as well as the 4 skill dice. And for this, the bottom piece of the box got a very nice piece of artwork in there. I'll talk about that later, but I'm going to use this as a dice tray. So I'm going to set that right here and roll my dice in there so that they're on camera and they don't go flying off screen at any point. And with that, we are all set up for gameplay. So Kinfire Delve will play out over a series of turns where I, as the seeker, am going into the well, down into the well, working my way through all of the different things that present themselves, the challenges that present themselves to me as I make my way down through the well and eventually getting to the bottom of the well and taking on Vainglory, hoping to vanquish the foe and sort of dispel their energies from the land. And to do so, I'm going to be sort of taking on these different challenges, using my skill cards to do so. So on each turn, I am going to be either activating an event if there's an event card out here, which there isn't currently, and I will show you how those work when an event card is drawn for the first time, or attempting one of the 4 challenges around Vainglory. And when attempting a challenge, we're going to do a few things. The first thing I want to do is I can choose to use one of my skill cards to attempt that challenge. And in order to play a skill card on a challenge, I need to play a skill card of a matching color. So these 3 red challenges would need to be attempted using a red skill card, and this green one here would need to be attempted using a green skill card. But you will see some cards like this one are actually dual colored green and red, so this could be used for either these red challenges or these green challenges. In addition, some of the cards are white like this, and white are wild and can be used to take on any different color challenge, blue, green, or red. So when attempting a challenge, I can first choose to play a skill card. And why am I playing the skill card? Well, I'm playing the skill card for a couple of different reasons. And the first and main reason is, let me give you a couple examples. I'm playing the card for its value up here in the top left corner, and that's going to be the number of progress tokens that it will add towards that challenge by playing that card on the specific challenge. And the reason I'm doing that is in order to succeed or complete one of these challenges, clear a challenge, I need to have placed a number of progress tokens on that card that is equal to or greater than the number it has printed in the left corner. And if I'm able to complete a challenge, I will get whatever bonus is printed in this top area right here. However, if I fail that challenge on any given attempt, I'm going to take whatever the penalty is in the bottom circle here on the card. In addition, when I play a card as a skill card to attempt a challenge, in addition to using that number towards the progress, I will also be activating whatever ability it shows down here at the bottom of the card. But you'll see that other cards might have abilities like this one that say discard, and this is going to be discarded from my hand rather than being activated when I play that card as part of the challenge. So then after playing a card to attempt a challenge, you're then given the option to play up to 2 additional cards to boost the card that you've just played. And the boost ability is going to be based on what it shows at the bottom of the card down here. And the colors are going to be the same thing as they were before. So if you're boosting a blue card, you should use something that's blue or something that is white, because again, white is wild. And the boosts are going to add an additional number of progress to whatever you're attempting based on the number that's shown here. And occasionally it'll have special additional rules, like this is a +1, but would be +3 if you're playing it versus a puzzle challenge. This shield icon is something special for this character Khor that I'll explain in just a minute. But again, when attempting a challenge, you have the option to play 1 card as the card that's making the attempt, up to 2 additional cards as a boost to the card that you're playing for that challenge attempt. And then finally, every time you will roll 4 dice. And the 4 dice are like this. There are 3 color dice, and the color dice all have 2 sides of each color. So 2 green, 2 red, and then 2 blue. And then this one here has 3 of these white sort of flame sides and 3 of these dark kind of moon looking sides. And these are all going to sort of boost, in addition to the cards that you've played as a boost, your amount of progress. So for every icon that you roll that matches the color of the challenge that you're attempting, you're going to increase your progress by 1. In addition, if you roll this white side as well, this is again a wild white, so it will also add 1 progress to your roll. This dark sort of moon side isn't going to do anything unless the card specifically mentions something that's triggered by that effect, and I'll point those out as we get into play. But again, we're attempting a challenge with a potential card, up to 2 potential boost cards, and then rolling all 4 dice. And after I've done that, I will total up all of the progress value from those 3 sources and place those that number of progress tokens onto the card. And if that number of progress tokens is equal to or greater than that number, we will have completed that challenge. And again, when I complete a challenge, I will get whatever the top reward of the card is. And if that number doesn't match or exceed the number printed on the card, we're going to fail and trigger whatever the fail penalty is for that card. In addition, once a card is completed, I will add it to my completed pile, and a new card will be drawn from the well deck to place right there in its place, sometimes triggering things that are printed at the bottom of the card. And I will continue doing that until such a point where I cannot place any cards from this well. It means this deck is empty when it's time to place out another card. And at that point, I will remove any remaining well cards around Vainglory, flip them over, and I will place these 4 gauntlet cards around the outside of that character, and the final sort of showdown against Vainglory will start. I'm going to wait to explain the sort of specific peculiarities or differences of those rules to that point when I get to that location. So what I want to do is I want to go through the 4 well cards that are currently showing. I want to go through all of the cards that I currently have in my hand. And I want to talk a little bit more about this exhaust system and my character. So let me talk first about the exhaust system. I'm going to be playing cards to be attempting these challenges, and every time I use a card after I'm done attempting that challenge, that card will get discarded. So eventually I'm going to slowly run out of cards, or I'm going to have cards in my hands that I don't really need to use or can't really make use of based on the colors that are showing on the table or in the play area. And at that point, I don't get to just draw a new hand of cards. What instead I'm going to do is I need to draw 1 exhaust card. And after drawing 1 exhaust card, I will discard any remaining cards in my hand and redraw a fresh hand of 8 cards. So anytime I want to refresh this or draw new cards, I need to take an exhaust card. And these exhaust cards are basically going to do bad things to me, and there will be several different ways that we can potentially lose the game as well based on things that come out of that exhaust deck. And I will wait to show you those until they start coming out in gameplay. And in order to do that, I need to get into gameplay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you my character card. And that's because each character is going to have some kind of unique ability. And Khor is kind of like a tank kind of character. You can see he is self-sacrificing. And it says here, when any seeker fails a challenge, which in this case is just me playing solo, whenever I fail a challenge, I can reduce any damage suffered by 1 for each shield on the current action or boosts. So the card that I played as my action for the challenge, and either or both of the 2 cards that I played as boost, for any shield that's printed on those cards, and I'll show you that in just a second when I show you the cards, I'm going to prevent 1 damage for each of those shields. Next is the lantern card, and the lantern card is only going to flip over when I use specific cards that allow me to flip over the lantern card, and I'll show you that as they come out as well. But Khor's lantern card, basically this acts just like a white skill card with a value of 5, except that instead of discarding this card after using it, I will just flip it face down again. And this card is going to allow me to add 3 progress to every challenge that I didn't attempt on that action. So then looking at the 8 cards I start with, I've got this 2 white that does have a shield. Will give me a boost 1 that also adds a shield. And it says if I complete a challenge that I'm attempting using this card, I'm going to get 3 additional that. And that symbol is going to be very important in the game, and I'll show you that's on these cards as well. But anytime you see that card, that means we're delving down into the well. So we're going to place a number of cards from the well deck into our discard based on that number. So that means if I succeed or complete a challenge using this card, I'm going to place an additional 3 cards from the well deck into the discard. This is a 3 green or red that boosts green only for 2. It says after this action, choose another challenge. For every shield that I discard, means from my hand, I'm going to add 2 progress to that challenge that I chose. Here's a 3 blue-green with a +1 or +3 versus puzzle wild. And this one also, if attempting a puzzle, when I roll the white die, it's going to add +2 rather than +1 to my progress. Here's that riposte card I showed you before. This is a 2 green or red. It lets me discard from my hand to add 2 progress when I'm dealt damage by a challenge. And I also get to draw a card to replace it, which is nice because remember, usually when I play a card, it goes away. Now it's getting replaced. It's also a +2 wild boost. This card here is a 0. It means it doesn't add any progress to the challenge attempt, but it is a double shield, which protects me pretty well. And also remember, you saw some cards where I can discard cards with shields to get other things, so that's good for that as well. +1 or +3 versus combat wild, and also an additional 2 shields, which is pretty nice. Here I've got a 3 blue with a shield, +1 blue boost and a shield. And after I play this as an action, I could draw 2 new cards. Your Shard Whip is a 3 green, +1 green boost, and it says +2 for each shield that I discard. So I can discard a bunch of shields to make that hit hard. Pierce Defenses is a 4 blue. It says, do not roll this turn. Means this is a 4 and only a 4. I cannot add anything to it aside from boosts. And that is my 8 cards. So let's set those back out. And then I will show you the 4 different challenge cards I have right now. This here, the Great Stag, is a 6 red. If I succeed, I get to delve down 2 cards. If I fail, I take 1 damage. But it also says that any other challenge that deals me damage deals 1 additional damage so long as that stag is out. So I want to take care of that before I take care of something else that might potentially deal me damage. Next is this Marionette, is a 7 red. Doesn't do anything special. If I beat it, I will go down 2 levels in the well. And if I fail, I will take a damage. And I've got 2 of those out right now. Again, location doesn't matter, so if I'm putting these back in a different place, that's fine. But the center card here, the Vainglory card, says, when attempting a challenge, it gains +1 difficulty for every other challenge with the same name. So right now, both of these marionettes are 8s and not 7s. And then finally here, the Hunting Cat is a green 7. If I complete it, I go down 3. And if I fail, I will take 2 damage. It also says when I attempt any other challenge, this challenge will first deal 1 damage to me, which is bad because if I hit anything else, I'm automatically taking damage from this card. But remember, I also have this card up here that if another card damaged me, they're going to deal another damage. So if I attempt this challenge and I fail, I take 2 damage +1 from there. And if I attempt anything else, he's automatically doing me 1 damage. So I'm in a bit of a precarious situation to start, but let's go ahead and get into gameplay and see how it works out. Means I kind of want to focus on the Hunting Cat. He's going to do 2 damage if I fail, +1 up here. So I would like to play something with a shield, but right now I don't have any green things that give me shields unless I use that. And that special ability is it gives me an extra 3 if I complete it. And I don't think I'm completing it this time. That is a combat. I don't have anything. Ooh, yes I do. That gets me +3 versus combat and 2 shields as a boost. This one gets me +2 attack for every card I discard. No, sorry, for each shield. So I could discard that and get +4 instead and automatically hit it. Huh. All right, so I'm going to start with that 3 then. I'm attempting that 7 challenge with the 3, and the first step I'm doing, I'm not going to boost, because this has the ability to discard cards for +2 for each shield. So I'm going to roll and see what happens first. All right, so I've got 1 white and no green, so that's hitting for 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I stop there, I'm going to get hit for 2 damage. I don't have any shields. That would be bad. 4 means I need an additional 3 to hit it. So if I throw away 1 shield, that's only 2, and that's not going to be good. So I am going to discard this red card to do an additional 4 damage. And 4 and 4 is 8, so that card is completed. This card is discarded. This card gets completed. And you'll see that the completing reward is 3 delve down. So again, from my well cards, 1, 2, 3 cards delving down, and then replacing that card like that. the maze, 7 blue, delve down 2 for a success, minus 2 cards. I got to discard 2 cards if I fail that one. But it says if I complete it, any other mazes that are out will automatically be completed as well. So I might want to hold that there until there are other mazes around. It also says if I fail, I discard an additional card for each copy of the maze. So it's helpful to get rid of other mazes, but it also becomes worse if there's more mazes out, but that's okay. In any case, I think I'm gonna look at reds for right now, and I think I wanna hit that stag so that the other reds don't hurt me. Means, this adds 2 progress. Hold on. After this action, choose another challenge. For every shield you discard, add 2 progress to that challenge. So I can use this guarded strike to do something decently. I think I'm just gonna play this 3 over here. Yeah. If I take damage, I'm only taking 1 damage. And if I want to, I can discard this to do extra damage when I take damage. My only question is, do I want to play that as a boost? Because then I get a shield, and if I fail, then that's fine. But that's kind of a waste of that card, and it's early, and I'm at, sorry, this should be 10 health. Yuck. All right, so there's 4. I do 4 against them, which means I fail, so I will take 1 damage to 9. Like that. And then I did get damage dealt, so I am going to discard that card to add 2 progress to that, because that's 4 plus 2 is 6. So now that's completed, and I get to delve down 2 spaces. So 1, 2 goes down like that, and this card then says, after the action, choose another challenge. For everything you discard, every shield you discard, add 2 progress. I got a lot of blue, and this is strong against puzzles. This is an automatic 2, but it could be an automatic 3. Do I want to discard that? No. Do I want to discard that to do 2? It's a 2 anyway. And if I use it to complete a challenge, then that's even better. Yeah, no. I'm not going to discard anything. New card comes out. All right, then. I'd like to be able to go down some more with that one. I'm going to attempt this 7 with this 3. It is a puzzle, and it says here, if attempting a puzzle, the white die face is worth an extra +2 if rolled. And wow. Okay. Well, I'm not going to get to use him this time. 1, 2, 3 blues plus the white is 2 is 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an automatic win right there. That's completed. I get to go down 2 more. 1 and 2, and that flips over like that. Dreamer's Seat is a 7 with 2 stars. It says if I complete it, discard all the cards attached to Vainglory. And you'll see that some cards do attach themselves to Vainglory through different ways, particularly when you fail a challenge. And some of the Vainglory forms, remember there are 3 of them in the game and I chose one for this game, will have different things happen depending on the number of cards that are attached to it when you go into battle. But this also says if failed, attach all challenges to Vainglory. So I'd like to get rid of that in some sort of special way rather than just trying to hit it. Although, no, I don't want that many challenges attached to Vainglory. So I'd rather stay away from that. Now, what is this red one up here? The Faded Way. If I fail, I get 1 extra exhaustion card. If I succeed, I go down X, and X is the total progress on this challenge because it says, when attempting this challenge, if you roll the blue sort of moon face on that die, I'm going to fail automatically. Otherwise, I complete it. So it's a sort of 50-50 chance to complete. Ah. Oh no, that's blue and that's red. I was going to say this one says don't roll, but that's red. All right. So basically, if I played this card here, I'd get a 2 plus whatever I rolled down, plus an additional 3 for using him, but I have a 50-50 chance of failing, and if I fail, I get extra exhaustion. But there are ways to get rid of exhaustion later. Otherwise, I could just attempt one of these marionettes, and that would block it, but there's no way that I win. I don't know if I want to push my luck, but you know what? Why not? It's early enough in the game. I'm going to try it. So I roll a 2. Ha! Yay, good. I didn't roll the blue, so I do succeed. It is red. So I get 1, 2 for the red, 3, 4. So I'm getting 4 delve plus an additional 3 for beating it with flickers. So that gets completed and I go down. Sorry, what was that? 4 plus 3 is 7 more down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm doing pretty good this game. And there's our first event. So let me show this to you. And this event says I can remove 1 exhaustion card, which is going to be nice because, as I told you, some of those exhaustion cards are basically going to be auto fails or ways that we can fail the game. But in order to do that, I then attach this card to Vainglory, which might make the final game, very likely, will make that final battle more difficult. So I'm going to let that sit there until a point when I really, really, really need it for something. But now I've got 2 blue cards, and the only blue card I can attack is that one. And if I fail, all of those things are going to stick to Vainglory. Well, just those 2, but still, I'd rather that not happen. So this is the first time that I am going to exhaust myself to draw a new hand. So these get discarded, and I will draw our first exhaust card. And this exhaust card says Consumed. And Consumed says if there are ever 3 copies of this card in play, I lose the game. So remember, I have some ability, including this event, to get rid of some of these cards. So I'm going to place that out there. And again, if I ever have 3 of those, I will lose the game. So if I get 2, I might want to think about trying to get rid of one of them, if possible. But doing that gets me a new hand of 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just going to walk you through what they say with them here on the table rather than trying to show them to you on camera. A 3 red with a shield plus 2 green or red boost with a shield. If played as the last card in my hand, I get to refresh or draw a new hand without taking exhaustion. So if I can play that last, that would be amazing. 2 wild plus 1 wild boost. After this action, I get to draw 2 more cards. The Earthblood Vial is a 2 red blue with a shield or a plus 1 red boost with a shield. Ignore any damage you suffer this turn. Great. Vengeance of Stone 2 red. Discard at the start of any turn to discard a challenge. Also plus 2 red or green boost. Accept a blow blue or green 6 with a shield. But it says before attempting the challenge, suffer that challenge's penalty as if I had failed it. That's not great. Except that something like a 1 is not that big a deal. So if I hold that for the right time, it could be a huge attack. It's also a plus 2 plus shield boost in blue and green, which is pretty good. Here I've got a 2 wild shield plus 1 boost plus shield. This one says after this action I can take a damage to either get rid of one of these or to turn over my lantern. That's pretty cool, especially when I have lots of health. Patience 2 green plus 1 wild boost. After the action, if my hand is not empty, it says unless the hand is empty. So if my hand is not empty, it comes back into my hand. That's great, but right now we don't have any green challenges. Red 3 with a shield or a plus 1 shield plus 1 boost, red and green. It says if I fail combat, ignore the penalty. I got some great stuff here. And I'm going to start by, at the start of any turn, discard this to discard a challenge. That gets rid of this stupid dreamer seat, so I don't have to worry about stuff sticking to Vainglory. That flips over. Orchestra, 8 blue, 3 delve down or 1 damage, but it says when another blue challenge enters play, I have to discard a card. You know what? I think this is the perfect opportunity to use that 6, because that's only going to cause me 1 damage, so I'm down to 8 health. But I'm already doing 6 on an 8, and if I can roll 2, well, of course I don't. I rolled 1, so I'm at a 7. 3, 6, and plus 1 is 7, but that is a shield, so I will block the actual damage it does now. But that's sad, because now I got to figure out a way to add a single thing to that without doing anything crazy. And I could do that just by not playing any cards. But let's do something else first. I'm going to play... but that's silly, because that's already a 1, and these are all shields. I want that last. That's a 2. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to play that 2 here with a shield. It says after this action I can take a damage to either get rid of that or flip my lantern. I'm looking to flip my lantern, so we're going to roll. That's red, so 1, 2, 3, 4 gets placed. I will take a damage, but it's blocked. But I will take a damage anyway to 7 so that I can flip my lantern. Yeah. Huh. I want to add more to that. Wait, that's a 4. This says add 3 to all other challenges. That's great. All right, I'm going to hit this marionette for 5. And it's red. And I'd rather not take the damage, so I'm going to boost it with this vial that is a 1 shield plus 1. So I'm at 6. And I rolled 2 more reds, so that's completed. But also, because I played my lantern, it says, after this action, add 3 progress to all other challenges. So that flips down, that's gone. This one is completed. And I'm adding 3 more here and 3 more there. That's completed, moving down 2 more. 1, 2. Then 3, 6, 9, 10 completes this one. For moving 3 down again. 1, 2, and 3. Then again, 3, 6, 7. This one is also completed. That was a big turn. Going down 2 more. 1, 2, and now I got to fill in those 3 spots again. 1. It says, when another red challenge enters, suffer a damage. Just to keep that in mind. Nope, no other red. Then, let's take a look. Red 8, delve 4, 3 damage. And again, if any red comes into play, they will hit me. Another event, again, same as before. I can get rid of that to get rid of one of these, but it attaches itself to Vainglory, so I'd avoid it if possible. And green trap 8, 4 delve, and it says, if I fail, this gets attached to me. And while it's attached means for the rest of the game, because there's no way to get it off of me again. Whenever I draw a hand of cards, I'm only going to get 6 and not 8. So I'd really rather avoid that if possible. So I want to get rid of that some other way so I don't accidentally fail it. Then, taking on this red 8, I'm going to use this red 3, and I'm going to boost it with this 1 so I don't have to play a green card in order to play that red card. Like that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to boost it twice with another +1 wild. So now I've got 3, 4, 5 to start. 6, 7, 8. Well, that's great because I win. But that's less great if there's no red that comes out after him. But that's 4 down. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And cross your fingers that this is red so I can use that. It's not. Great. Okay, that was kind of a mistake. Okay, then I have to exhaust myself because this red card can't do anything. That goes there, and I draw another exhaust card. And this is the scary one. Vainglory Symphony. Every time I fail a challenge from now on, I'm going to put a token on here to track. If I ever place a 4th token on this card, that is instantly game over. Not good. But I've got 2 protections here, so I'm not 100% scared of that, but I'd rather not add them if possible. All right, then. Last 2 new cards, I'll show them while I'm here. Incredible Strength is a 2 green-red with a +1/+3 versus obstacle boost that says I got a +2 if I'm attempting an obstacle, which I now have 1 of. And a Crush is a red 1 with a shield, +1/+shield. Red boost says +4 if I discard a shield. So there's my first 2. Shuffling these up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, what do we got? I don't want to take care of that unless I have something that I can instantly get rid of something. And so far right now, that's not happening. But this one says, after this action, choose another challenge and add 2 progress for every shield I discard. And I've got lots. So, 7 green has a, ooh, that's an activated lantern when I get that. And I get to go, I go back up, means I have to draw 2 cards from my discard back into my well if I fail that. When attempting this challenge, if I roll a white side, I instantly complete it. That's cool. Well, I'm gonna play that 3 there and see what happens. And I did roll a white, perfect. So I don't have to do anything else. That is completed. Then, after this action, choose another challenge for every shield you discard, add 2 progress to that challenge. I'm gonna be crazy, I think. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Put 6 progress on that one, and I'll show you why in just a second. That gets discarded there. This is completed, means I get to activate my lantern. Great. New card comes out. Blue trap 8. 3 delve for success, 1 climb back up, or retreat for a fail. It says, if failed, remove 1 progress from each challenge in play, including this one. But I like this now, because I've got flickers. Flickers is a 2, that's 6 plus 2 is automatically an 8, regardless if I roll anything. But the reason I'm using flickers is because it gives me an additional 3 delve for doing so. So that's 2 plus, it doesn't matter, but 1, so that's 3. That's 9, I've succeeded. That's a 4 plus 3 from flickers gets me 7 delve, which is awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. Replacing a masterpiece is red. It says, when rolling for this challenge, white side is worth +2. The blue moon side is worth -1. Delve 3. Only 1 damage, though. Only 1 damage. But I got a blue and a red. The only card that could hit red is here or here. That's combat, and we've got a trap. I've got puzzle and obstacle cards, no trap cards. The only one that can hit blue is this 3, and it's only good against puzzles. I still have the crown, though, that adds 3 progress to all other challenges that it's not attacking. I don't have any blue boost. This is, oh yeah, they're all wild boosts, though. Okay, 5. Failing, that's not so bad. I'm just going to play the 5 there, like that. And we'll see what happens. 6. So after the action, which is happening now, but let's put the 6 there. Then after the action, I get to add a 3 there. That flips over, and it says, if failed, first off, we're retreating. So I'm going to take the top card of here and place it at the bottom of this deck, like that. Then it says, if failed, remove 1 progress from each challenge in play. So these both go to 2, like that, and like that. That's a 5, and that's a 2. I don't have, oh, I do have, this 3 can hit that 5, and auto succeed. Yeah, so that 3 goes there. I don't really need to roll because that's already 5 and 3, but just for fun, yeah, 1 more, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We succeed there. That's discarded. This is completed. Whoops, that was a 3 delve. Wrong way. 1, 2, 3 delve, and replacing with a green, the 3 fountains. 11 green. If failed, well, first off, success is 3 delve. Fail is a hit. If failed, suffer +1 damage for every other fountains in play. There aren't any. If completed, wow, triple the reward for every other fountain in play. There isn't any, so neither of those things matters. Okay. I don't have any shields to boost this shield. That is a trap. I don't have any special things against traps. This lets me discard to take 2 and draw a card. Huh. That replaces itself. That's kind of cool. 1, 2, 3 plus a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm going to attempt the fountain. It only does 1 damage anyway. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to play this 3 plus a 1. Wait a minute. No. No, because I could potentially get shield stuff in the next card. So I'm just playing this 2. I'm going to take a damage, but that's okay, I think. Oops, that's a 7. And I haven't been paying attention. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I'm pulling that because I may have failed enough that I would have be close to dying here. I'm sorry I haven't been keeping track. I'll put some subtitles in as I edit this video, but just so that I am not cheating, I am going to use one of these, attaching that to him to get rid of that, just so that I know that I'm safe and I'm not cheating. I wish I had been paying more attention, but I don't think I failed that many times. So before I do that, I did that. We're going to place out a new card, like that. 8 blue Dream Fields, obstacle. 5 delve if you win. If failed, attach to Vainglory. I don't have any blue anyway, so that's fine. I'm going to continue doing what I was doing. So there's a 2. A 3. 3 progress there. I do take 1 damage, so this goes down to 6. Like that. Discards. And I am going to discard this because I took damage to add 2 progress. So there's 2 more progress added there, and I get to draw a card, which does have a shield on it. Great. Because I am going to attack that again now with a 3. Rolling again. Of course, no green. And I'm going to discard that one as a shield for +2. So that's 3. +2 is 5. And 1 more is 6. So there's 3, 6, 9, 10. We're 1 short. That's sad because now I do take a damage. I didn't have a shield. That may have been a bad idea, but that's okay. I'm exhausting myself again. All right, we've got Vainglory's Web. It says refill the board with 1 fewer challenge card. This doesn't affect the final gauntlet. So right now, as soon as I clear something, that won't get filled. I'm only going to have 3 out on the board at any time. But now 8 new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, like that. I'd love to see another challenge that heals me, but I think I'm not seeing any more challenges. I need to beat that with anything. And I think I'm gonna take a hit so that, yeah, I'm gonna take a hit so that I can charge my lantern for the final battle. That's a 2, which is gonna win anyway, but I might as well roll. Nothing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 does complete that challenge. For 3 delve, oops, that goes there. 1, 2, 3 delve. We are officially out of well cards. So that is time to go into the final gauntlet. But first, this says after the action I can take a damage, which I will do. This might be a mistake, but I will do. 2, flip my lantern card. Like that. And now all of these go away. And we find out who our boss is. I am going to fight against the Dreadweaver, who has a progress of 21, or difficulty level of 21, and it says here, +3 difficulty for every card attached to Vainglory. There is 1 card, so this is actually a 24, not a 21. And now I'm going to add these 4 final gauntlet cards. They are all combat. And the way this is going to work is, this is a green 9 that does 1 damage, a red 9 that does 2 damage, a 13 blue that gives 2 damage, and a 10 blue that deals 1 damage. These 3 cards, this red, green, and blue, are going to be the only way that I can defeat the boss. And what I mean by that is, these are going to become, when they flip over as I defeat them, a vulnerability of the boss. Because you'll see the boss is black. They are not colored. It means none of my attacks can do any damage until they're vulnerable. So if I succeed on this green one, I will flip it over, and the boss is then a bit vulnerable to green. If I defeat this red one, it will flip over, and the boss is then vulnerable to red. Likewise for this blue one, I'll flip it over, and they are vulnerable to blue. This last one is weird. This last one says that if I would place more than, sorry, not more than, 5 or more progress on the boss, Vainglory, I place it here instead. So they're protecting Vainglory until I flip them, in which case nothing is happening anymore. But in addition, we've got to pay attention to some other things. This one says if I would place 5 or more on Vanguard, it blocks it. We saw that. This one says, if I discard a challenge, I'm going to suffer a damage. So if I use any cards that get rid of challenges without me taking them on directly by attempting the challenge, they're going to cause damage. Same thing here, if I discard a challenge, 2 damage. And finally, this last one says, if I fail, I'm going to discard a card in addition to taking the 1 damage. So I need to sort of beat some of these other guardians in order to activate vulnerability of the Dreadweaver Vainglory, and then I can do my best to fight Vainglory. Now there's one last thing I do want to show you before I get into this final battle, is that this symbol right here is that blue moon on the die. The Vainglory cards are interesting in that they don't have any kind of fail penalty unless you roll the moon at the same time that you fail. And in this case, if I do, I'm going to take an exhaust card. All right, then what do we got? 4 blue, no rolling. 2 wild that lets me draw more cards, that's nice. 3 red with a defense that says if I play this last, I get new cards for free, so that's great. But that means I gotta keep that red alive in order to use it. A 2 red or blue that ignores damage. That's cool. A 2 red that discards at the start of any turn to discard a challenge. That means I want to get rid of those before I use that. If I beat that red, then he's vulnerable to red and I can use that. That's great. If I fail a combat, ignore the penalty. That's great too. All right, then I'm going to play this 3 on this red without anything, because if I fail, I ignore the penalty. And that's 3, 4, 5 against that one. 3, 4, 5, like that. This card gets discarded. All right, then this 5 is great because it does 3 damage to everybody else. This 6 is cool. Before attempting a challenge, suffer that challenge's penalty as though you had failed it. This is just a 1 damage. Yeah, I'm going to hit him with that 6. Means I take 1 damage, I'm down to 3, which is not great, but I'm doing a 6. 7, 8, 9, that's awesome. Like that. I block the 1 damage for real with the shield on the card. So he's good for a minute. I don't have anything to do big green, I don't have any green damage. So I'm going to play this 5 here, because it's only going to do 1 damage anyway. I'm rolling 5. If I play this one, yeah, let's do it. I play that one. 5 plus 1 is, oh no, that's red. Sorry, that's green. I can't use that. The only thing I could do is one of these 2s. I don't want to use that card. This one is the one that's going to let me immediately discard a challenge. But I might play it now as a 7. No, I'm just going to do that and take the hit. Yeah. And I rolled 1 green, so that's a 6. So 3, 6, and I do take a damage. I'm down to 2. This is getting scary now, but it's okay. After this action, add 3 here, and 3 here like that. So this is 3, 6, 9, 12. Vainglory can be hit by blue. That's 6, and this is 6, 7, 8. That flips back down. Yes. 3, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to try this. I'm a little scared because I don't want to take another damage, but 2, that's 6. I need to roll 1 green or white. Good chances. Except under pressure is when I always roll badly. Oh, good. I rolled a white. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's done. So that's there. This flips back over like that. Then, 4, don't roll. That's going to give 2 damage. I'm dead. I can't hit the hand-mates. All right, so we're going to stop for a second. No, we're just going to start pummeling the main guy. I'm going to get rid of red using this 2. Because that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but whatever, 11, 12, it's done. So that's good. That flips. Now they're vulnerable to red. And now there's nothing that says I'm hurt if I discard a challenge. So I'm discarding this card. Discard at the start of turn. To discard a challenge means this is gone too. So now we just got to pummel Dreadweaver and hope that he doesn't kill us with exhaust. Playing this 4. And I got hit. And no blue, so that's just 4. And I do get exhausted again, which is a second consumed. But for right now, I'm okay because that goes. Hold on, I shouldn't have rolled anyway. That doesn't happen. I'm sorry, that was perfect. This is a don't roll, so I can't get a blue, so that's an auto 4. Now, I am playing this as my last card of my hand, so I will get to draw a new set of cards without taking exhaustion. And you know what? Since I did roll, I'm going to call that the roll. Because that would have been what happened by fate just now. No, that's cheating. Because that's a nice reds. Let's see what happens. Almost exactly the same thing. It may be. I don't remember what the 4th die was. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I do take that consumed. So 3, 4, 5 is... That is a 6. So we're at 9. I need to get to 24. But because I played that as my last card, I get a free hand of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do some damage. I need to do lots of boosting these times because he's not doing damage. He's just potentially getting me exhaust by blue dice, and I don't like that. It is a combat. So let's hit big. I don't really care what color. +2 for each shield. That makes that a 4. Yeah, and he can't hurt me, so I don't need to block. So that's a 3. I can boost it 1, 2. Wild 1, 2. Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rolling this is an 8 for that white. And then it says +2 for each shield you discard. 1, 2, 3 is 6. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 +3 +1, 2, 3. No, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 +1 there. That's 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. We're 1 short. But I didn't roll a blue, so nothing happens there. Those go away. And I win. Unless I roll a blue and get it consumed. This could be the craziest ending ever. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 21 +2. 22, 23, but this adds +3 for my attached card, so I gotta hit one more time. Yeah. And there's no way to attempt without a roll, so here we go. If I roll a blue, we could lose. If I roll a white, we win. I roll the white. Yes. All right. So I do 2, 3, 4 damage. And just like that, I have successfully beaten the Dreadweaver. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is the first time after many plays of this game that I've actually won this game, especially with Khor. I always felt Khor was the most difficult of the 2 characters, but I'll talk more about that in my final thoughts. And I will promise you that between now and my final thoughts, I will play a few more times just to see if I can eke out another win as well. But that is a win. So with that, before I finish at the table, I would like to show you the components in a little bit more detail. You've already seen the cards on the table as I'm playing. The quality of the cards is wonderful. The artwork on the cards, I'll show them to you a little bit up close, is just gorgeous. I love the character design. I love the world design. I love the visuals of this game. The artwork on the backs of the cards as well is beautiful. Let me show you the character cards. Have these gorgeous foil backings on them. It just looks wonderful. Just quickly so you can see, here is Asha. Again, super cool foil cards. The Lantern card, these are her skill cards. Just really, 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 really awesome. I love the way that this game looks. The dice are sort of, I guess these are like heat treated. They're not seals, they're not stickers. I don't think they're scratchable, but they're really, really cool. I mean, they're just colored symbols, but they're super easy to read real quick. The blue and green and red, if you have colorblind issues, are also diamond, square, and triangle. So easy at a quick glance to see what everything is. Just everything in this game, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm not gonna lie to you, the first time I opened this box, heck, the first time I picked up this box, just look at this. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it's super thick. This is the sort of sturdiest box I've ever seen in my life. This artwork on the inside, gorgeous. Just the amount of time and attention, this sort of gold or foil print on the box itself, just master class in visual and art and sort of component design. It does also come with an insert. The dice fit nicely in that slot like that, as does the life tracker die. The cards sit in these 2 wells. Now you do see there's this recess down here. I thought maybe I could squeeze in the point trackers down in there. It might be possible, but I haven't really found a good way to do it. So for right now, I've got them all in a baggie, but with the baggie and those sort of on top of the cards, because this does sit so flush or so close to flush to the top, it doesn't close 100% perfectly. Now that might be my fault. Again, there might be some very good way to use this well, and I'm just not doing it properly, and I could keep playing with it to see. But for right now, there's one small sort of concern for me, is that those tokens don't fit perfectly nicely in this box. But again, everything is so nicely thought out except for that one little complaint. This box, again, is honestly the sturdiest thing. It doesn't move, it doesn't twist, it's just wow. Big thumbs up for me on the component quality of this game. And what this does is it makes me really want to go rush out and find more of the games, or try more of the games that have been made or that will be coming soon in this Kinfire universe, because it just looks and feels amazing. With all that said, meet me back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the gameplay itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. This one's an interesting one for me because originally I had heard of this studio from their first Kinfire game, Kinfire Chronicles, which is a sort of big box role-playing game in a box adventure type battling game. And I had originally passed on it during crowdfunding just because there have been so many of these big box dungeon crawl kind of games. So I didn't really pay much attention to it until recently. I've seen lots of people playing it and talking about it, and it looked really, really cool, and I sort of missed that I didn't get a chance to try it out and was hoping to learn more about this world. So I jumped at the opportunity to cover this game on my channel. Now this is a complete shift from that game because, again, that's a big box dungeon crawl adventure game, and this is a small box card cooperative survival style game. And let me say first off, this universe, both Chronicles now and this game, is really, really cool, and I definitely especially now want to go back and try Chronicles because I'm loving visually and aesthetically what I'm seeing in this universe. But let's talk about this game in particular. This has been a bit of a journey for me reviewing this game. When I first got this game, I played it a bunch of times and I generally enjoyed what I was doing, but I was failing every single time, losing and losing and losing, and it was feeling really difficult. And it was getting to the point where it was going to be the kind of review where I say, if you like this thing and you like this thing and you don't mind it hard, then you're going to like this kind of a game. But ultimately, it's not for me. And then I sat down and I recorded the playthrough for this video. And what do you know? This was the first time I ever won this game on camera while you were watching, or hopefully you were watching. Anyway, after that, I've now gone back and played 5 or 6 more times after that with both of the characters. And I'd say the majority of the times I've played since recording that playthrough have been successes. I've been winning and winning and winning, whereas in the past I couldn't win a single time. So somehow, somewhere along the line, probably on camera while I was showing you the game, something has clicked for me. And I've started to sort of understand better how this game is working and how the pieces are coming together. And while I still won't say that this is like my favorite game of all time or something that I'm going to pull out regularly all the time, it has become a whole lot better, in my opinion, to me than it was before. And it's not just because I'm winning, it's because I'm starting to understand more about the flow of this game, right? So ultimately this game is kind of a survival game because you need to make your way through all of the cards in the deck till you get to the bottom to then showdown or face off against that final enemy in sort of a final challenge where you have to reveal vulnerabilities and then finally take out that last boss. And all of this is being done by playing cards from your hand that need to match the color of the challenge that you're challenging. And then the value of that card gets added as progress towards that challenge when you roll the dice to add extra progress points, and then any other abilities, and also, if you'd like to play up to 1 or 2 cards after that to boost that ability before rolling the dice to give you just a little bit of extra progress. So that's the core mechanism here. Play cards to add progress to cards to overcome the threshold of that card to remove that card from the game. And if you play the game just that way and don't really pay attention to how all of the things are connecting together, you're probably going to fail. And this is what was happening to me so much as I played, because I'd go through all my cards, and the way that happened is either I wasn't boosting enough or I was boosting too much. So I was not doing enough damage and taking too much damage from the enemies, or I was wasting too many cards and then running out of stuff, running out of time as I turned over those exhaustion cards and ultimately killing the game. So I wasn't ever able to win. I always was making it to the boss and then just getting destroyed because either I had no health left or I had no time left and those exhaustion cards wiped me out. But the more I played it, and then somehow in the video, the game that I recorded for this video, I started to see more of the combos. So there are 2 characters in this game, and they do play slightly differently. The green guy, Khor, that I showed you on the video, is very much a take and give damage kind of guy. He's got a lot of these cards with shields that block a bunch of damage, and then he's got a lot of cards that combo with other cards to do a whole lot of damage by throwing away some of those shields to gain damage, and so on. So he's very much about, as quick as possible, pummel, 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 block, 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 and let's get through the game. Meanwhile, Ash, the other character in this game, is much more of a finesse player. She's more about dealing with these progress tokens. She's not going to do a whole lot of damage on her own with her attacks, but she's got a lot of cards that let you move progress from one place to another, or if you attack something with progress, add more progress, or specifically if you attack a card with no progress, start by adding an additional amount of progress. So she's got all of these ways to sort of manipulate how she's adding progress, and then also discarding cards that she's not actually directly challenging through her cards. So she's not really this sort of brute force, pummel and attack kind of person. She's more of this finesse, how do I add a couple things here and a couple things here and a couple things here, and then move them around so that it does enough damage to remove a card in that sort of style. And both of them play quite differently because of those cards, but ultimately you really need to pay attention to a bunch of different things. The timer is going to be an important one. So the more efficiently you can play your cards, using the cards that do extra damage to specific types of challenges, using the cards that come back to your hand if you use them in a specific way, using the cards that let you refresh your cards for free, using cards that let you add additional things to other challenges that you're not directly challenging, or discarding challenges that you're not directly challenging, using the cards that let you delve further when you sort of hit the exact threshold for progress on a specific card, or other conditions that let you add additional delve every time you delve. You really need to focus on digging as fast as possible down to the bottom of that well, because the longer you take, the more of that exhaustion is burning up. But then if you're careful, if you do take a little bit slower and you do pay enough attention, there are ways to mitigate that exhaustion. There are cards that will take off some of that exhaustion. Some of those cards are those events that you saw in the video that will get tucked behind Vainglory and potentially boost the boss at the end. But in the most recent playthrough, I actually saw a card for the first time that there is a card in the deck that will remove those cards that have been attached to Vainglory. So even now, because of the randomness of the cards and because you're sort of delving down and digging through cards that don't get played out, you start the game by digging 3 cards that don't get played out. Even still, now after 10 plays or more, I'm still seeing cards that I've never seen before. And the more I see these new cards, the more I see these new pathways that you can sort of follow to build these combos to get your way down to the boss faster. And I'm slowly managing to get down to that final gauntlet challenge with more health, or with a full hand of cards, and things like that, that do give me a little bit more ability to survive that final set of challenges against that final boss. So the more I play this and the more I see those combos, the more I'm definitely enjoying this game. And now I have to say, I know that there's a second and third box of this game coming out with 2 more characters in each of those boxes. So I'm very curious to see in the next sets what those new characters bring in terms of their own unique play styles and their own unique special abilities. But ultimately, I still have to say that this is a card game that I'm going to enjoy playing every time I play out. Every time I take it to the table and play, it's a fun experience. I'm doing more, I'm learning, I'm doing better every time, and I'm enjoying every play of this game, but ultimately, it's not going to be one of my top games, and I'm not really sure why, except that I will say this. I've only been playing this game solo. And again, I enjoy it, and I've been enjoying it more now that I understand the combos and that I can get more accomplished and that I can do better every time I play. But ultimately, as a solo game, I feel like it's lacking just a little bit. And what I mean by that is, because each of these characters is so specialized, because each of these characters does have such a sort of unique play style and a unique set of abilities, this game is very likely to shine even more at multiplayer, because you can play with multiple characters, and instead of boosting your own cards, you're boosting the other character's cards. So you're going to find even more of these sort of pathways to cool combos that this card plays off this card, but that card plays off somebody else's card, and there's these sort of interlocking combos between the characters. And then you're going to see abilities where this character takes the damage and deals a lot of damage, while this other character is sort of setting up the other character to finish off more challenges on their turn. And I think that in multiplayer, this game is going to really shine. And I do still really hope that I do get this played in multiplayer. And even more so when the second and third box comes out, this turns from a 2-player game to a maximum 4-player, and maybe even 6. I don't know how it's going to work with the third box, but at least up to 4 players. And if you have 3 or 4 different characters in this universe with different abilities and different play styles interacting and like overlapping and overlaying their abilities and interconnecting them in unique ways to create new combos, I think that's where this game is really going to shine. So as a solo game, it's a recommend, but it's not a sort of full-on, this is great, go get it now kind of recommend. As a multiplayer game, though, I suspect there's a real lot of good in this box, and I'm going to recommend this even stronger if you're looking for a multiplayer co-op game. Now, realistically, as a solo player, I could play 2-handed or 3-handed in this game, depending on what the characters are and what I have available to me. But realistically, with 8 cards and a special ability that I am already controlling with 1 character, this is the kind of game where 2-handed play may be a little bit overwhelming, in which case the addition of fun that it adds to the game will also be sort of counteracted by the addition of extra work and sort of fiddliness that it would add to the game through this sort of two-handed play. So I'm not sure this is one you're going to want to two-hand solo, but definitely if you have a second player that you do play with, this one is going to shine beautifully at multiplayer. And normally I don't talk too much about cost in my videos because cost is sort of, or budget is sort of different for everybody who's watching. But this game, the quality of the components, the amount of stuff that's in this box, the tiny price tag on this game is very much worth it. If you're looking for a card-based sort of survival challenge-based game, especially if you're looking to play both solo and multiplayer or strictly multiplayer, definitely check this one out if it seems like something you'd be interested in. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.